morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're all doing well. This is Sunday morning, and this is going to be way too early for most of the people who watch my channel, particularly who watch my Delphi coverage. It's only 9:30 a.m. here in England, so Eastern, what's that going to be? 4 a.m. So it's going to catch a lot of people on the hop. I was actually just settling down to record episode 2 in my Lucy Letby series. And then I saw this that came out overnight my time. So this is from about 5 hours ago. And Fox 59 and CBS 4 have released a letter that Ricci Davis sent to them. So this is Ricci Davis's own handwriting. Who's Ricci Davis? I hear you say. You'll know who he is if you've been following the Delphi case. This is the last absolutely mind-blowing revelation that came out with the motion to correct errors that Rick Allen's defense released. And Ricci Davis, who is, this is the guy, hold on a minute, let me show you. This is Ricci Davis. He is currently in prison for 50 years. He got 50 years for meth dealing. 50 years. What on earth? Anyhow, he spent some time with Ron Logan back in 2017, and he rang the tip line on May the 15th, 2017, to say that Ron Logan had confessed to murdering Abby and Libby. So this was just 3 months after the murders, and nothing came of it. We know that Ron Logan was a suspect, but he was investigated by the FBI. Obviously didn't have enough on him. But anyway. And then the very latest revelation came out with the defence's latest filing, which I read in my video yesterday. So I was live yesterday, but I also did a recorded video. And I read this. Not that. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't know where I've put it. I think I put it in the wrong file. I'll dig it out. But anyway, according to the defence's latest filing, Ricci Davis also has spent some time with Kegan Kline, who was another person of interest in the Delphi murders. In fact, Kegan and Tony Kline's house was raided just 11 days after the murders because the investigation led them to their house. And the upshot of it, long-winded investigation, the upshot, Kegan Kline has 40 years in prison for child exploitation porn charges. He was communicating with young girls in the Delphi area. One of them was Libby German. And investigators say that Kegan Kline was the last person via the Anthony Shots profile to speak with Libby before she was murdered. And Ricci Davis has met with Andrew Baldwin just a few days ago, on the 12th of this month. So just 4 days ago. And claims that Kegan Kline was concerned when he realised that Ricci Davis had spoken to Ron Logan way back in 2017. And it appears, according to Ricci Davis, that Kegan Kline was also involved in the murders. Not necessarily there, not necessarily, a part of the crew that murdered Abby and Libby, but he had involvement in the murders. Now, Kegan Kline has always denied that. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's got 40 years. So it's all very confusing in a way. And where does Elvis Fields fit into all this? Right? I'm not prepared to let Elvis Fields go at this moment in time. That's why he's on my thumbnail. Because he confessed. Right? He's a ordinist hanger-on. He wanted to be in the Vinlanders. He wanted to be in the crew. And he confessed. He confessed to the murders to his sister before it was even known that Abby and Libby were dead, which I find incredible. And then he said to Kevin Murphy, one of the 3 guys who investigated the ordinists, if you find my spit on the girls and I can explain it, will that be okay? So I'm not prepared to let Elvis Fields go as of yet. Just so you know. Just so you know. The supposed confession of Ron Logan was very, very believable. Very believable. And fits the timeline better than anything that has come out from the trial of Richard Allen. Okay. So this is a letter. We're going to read it. I'm going to try and transcribe it. I haven't read this all the way through as of yet. And I really struggle with this kind of writing. So you might have to help me. All right. But we're going to read it together. But first, let me just show you where this came from. So this is CBS 4. So this was sent to Fox 59. I assume CBS and Fox are like affiliated because they've both got this exclusive story. So we're going to read this article first just to show where this letter has come from. And then we're going to have a go at reading the letter. All right. I'm going to say a couple of hellos, just give people a chance to come in before we start, because it is very early and I gave people like 15-minute warning of this. Can I make this letter bigger, do you think? I won't go any bigger than that. I won't go any bigger than that. Anyway, let's say a couple of hellos. Hello, Jackie. Remember to hit the like button on your way in. Absolutely. Please do. And subscribe. If you're listening to this and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I've got 17,000 subscribers to go. I'm on 83K. So I think it's doable. Right, we're only in February. So if you listen to my channel but you haven't subscribed, it's free. Please do. Just click on the subscribe button. All right. Hello, Kelly. Miss Wales. Oh, my word. We were in shock in the town I live in. A man attacked and stabbed 6 people. 1 14-year-old boy died. 3 seriously injured. I don't know if I know the boy. As a teacher, I teach many 14-year-olds. And all. Oh, my word. I'm so sorry to hear this. This is horrible. Horrible. Dear me. Can't go anywhere, can you? It's just all over. Crime, violence. Look after yourself, Miss Wells. And I hope that the 14-year-old boy that died gets justice. I hope they've got the person who did it. And 3 others seriously injured. That's crazy. Hello, Aussie TV, babe. Another Jackie, different Jackie. Chris, Journey Takes a Trip, Mike. Toby's mom, Dawn. Oh, 3:30 Central. This time, when I occasionally go live at this time, it's good for those down under. It works for people down under. But Sunday morning for most people. I'm going to keep it reasonably brief so that it's watchable on the replay, because I imagine that most people who come across this will be replay viewers. So hello to all the people who are watching the replay, and you can always fast forward over, of course, this hello stuff if it bugs you on the replay. Hello, Mayhem. We've got Heather, we've got Jess, Emmy, don't dox me. There you go, 8:30 p.m. in Australia. See, that's a good time. Sunday night, people chilling, chilling down, gonna go and watch some YouTube. It's a good time. Corona Knitting Denmark, I think that says. Who else have we got? Angela, Texas Proud, Myron, Olivia. All right. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so this is where this has come from. Exclusive. Inmate says Delphi prosecutor ignored his letters about Ron Logan confession in letter to CBS 4. In a letter to Fox 59 and CBS 4's Max Lewis, the inmate who is at the centre of the latest legal battle in the Delphi double murders case said prosecutor Nicholas McLeland ignored repeated efforts to inform him about a supposed confession to the murders made by a man who was once a prime suspect. The letter was mailed to Fox 59 CBS 4 studios by Ricci Davis, who is serving a 50-year sentence at the Newcastle Correctional Facility for dealing methamphetamine. 50 years! That's insane. That's an insane sentence. Anyway, Fox 59 and CBS 4 had previously requested an interview with Davis regarding his role in the Delphi case, but was denied due to safety and security concerns. How is there a safety and security concern? Can't they just do... Are people at Newcastle denied visitors? Can't they do an interview virtually? Because Kagan Klein has been doing interviews from prison. Kagan Klein's done a ton of interviews from prison. So that's some kind of cop-out or whatever. I don't know what that's about. Oh, Rick Allen's been moved from Westville, by the way. I think some of you will know this. Rick Allen has moved from Westville. He's now in Pendleton, which is closer. It's not very far away from Franklin, where Andy Baldwin works. So it's better for Andy Baldwin. It'd be better for visitors. It's closer than Westville. I don't know anything about the facility, though. I don't know why he's been moved. But it's positive in a way that it's closer to his attorneys and to Kathy. All right. In 2017, Davis was in the same cell block as Ron Logan and told investigators that Logan had confessed to a step-by-step killing of Abby Williams and Libby German. Logan owned the property where the girls' bodies were found, and it was sent to prison shortly after the murders for a parole violation. So they kept him. They kept him where they wanted him while they investigated. But the FBI investigated him. Nothing came of it. But he's dead now. Died in 2022 of complications from COVID. So we can't interview Ron Logan to find out his side of the story here, which is a problem. However, prosecutors said Davis failed a polygraph test when investigators pushed further into the confession. Davis wrote in his letter to Fox 59 and CBS 4 that he was the one treated as if he'd done something wrong. Look, whether he failed a polygraph test or not, polygraphs are not admissible evidence in court. So is the only reason that they didn't believe Ricci Davis about Ron Logan's confession in 2017, when Ron Logan was very much alive, is the only reason why they didn't pursue this lead, because he failed a polygraph. People fail polygraphs for all sorts of reasons. This is the reason why polygraphs are not admissible in court, because you can fail polygraphs for all sorts of reasons. So what questions did they ask him? If they ask him awkward, worded questions, even that can be enough for somebody to fail a polygraph. I was the one who requested to be placed on a polygraph. It was made all about my motive, i.e. media attention. So they're asking him questions that don't make sense to him. It was not about motive. I'm a man who has kids myself and felt deeply for them baby girls and families. Davis said he was also asked to condense Logan's confession into less than 2 paragraphs and recounts being threatened with a perjury charge if he wasn't telling the truth. Well, did they do that to everybody who sent leads in? Did they not want somebody who was actually being in contact, living in the same pod as Ron Logan? Do they not want him to talk? Why? Why? 3.Dave, hello. Is anybody out there? Yes, we are all out there. We can all see you. Hello. He also claimed that he offered to wear a wire when speaking with Logan. I was told, nah, Mr. Davis, it's okay. It's not necessary, really. This cannot be denied by McLeland, as the entire setting was fully recorded by video. It is undisputed facts that he can make. Of course, he has made effort to silence my genuine efforts. So Nick McLeland has been trying to silence this guy. Why? Why? Logan supposedly told Davis that McLeland was a long-time family friend and will have his back. I don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know whether that's true. I was told by Ron Logan in advance that Nicholas McLeland told a couple of family members of Logan and Ron Logan himself, if I'm elected, I will let Ron out. I don't believe he committed that crime. Now, when the girls were murdered, Nick McLeland wasn't the prosecuting attorney. It was Robert Ives. So Nick McLeland came after Robert Ives. I think Nick McLeland was elected, I think it was a year after the murders. I can't stand McLeland either. There's something very shady about that guy. He's too close. Like, he's related to the Patties. He's too close. He's too close. He should not be the prosecuting attorney on this case. He's got conflicts of interest. They should have brought in a special prosecutor. They had no desire to arrest the real perps. Yeah, for whatever reason. Davis said things got worse as Richard Allen's trial got closer. He said he wrote 7 letters to McLeland. Well, it said 8 letters in the defence filing, but I'm not to one letter. Sent 7 letters to McLeland about the confessions before he convicted an innocent man. Davis wrote that he initially believed Allen had a hand in the murders, but changed his mind after the trial was over. Because Ricci Davis believes that 3 people were involved in the murders. Ron Logan, Kegan Kline, and then a 3rd person who we don't know. Is this live right now? Yes, Truth Seeker. This is live right now. Who's the 3rd person? Again, I'm not willing to let Elvis Fields go because of the confession. You know, look, Richard Allen was convicted on confessions that he made when he was psychotic. So why should we let Elvis Fields off? Because Elvis Fields lied about an alibi. Just like Ron Logan lied about an alibi. So what I need to know is what's the connection between Ron Logan, Kegan Kline, and Elvis Fields. Now, according to Ricci Davis, this came out in the defence filing. Ron Logan and Kegan Kline knew each other through their communications relating to child porn. And Kegan Kline used to help Ron Logan with his phone. They communicated via burner phones, and Ron Logan wasn't technologically savvy. So Kegan Kline used to help him with his tech. Is this real life? Yeah. Things get crazier by the day. Things get crazier by the day. I'm just reporting what is being said. But again, who's that third person? And I am not willing to let Elvis Fields off. Unless it can be categorically proven that Elvis Fields was somewhere else. This is my problem, Olivia. I don't believe Kegan Kline either. I don't believe Kegan Kline. I think Kegan Kline has been lying and lying and lying. So if he told Ricci Davis, I believe what Ricci Davis is saying. Ricci Davis has no reason to lie. It's not like he's trying to get a plea deal or anything like that. He's not. He's been on this since 2017. He's already got his sentence. Does he think he's going to get a few years knocked off 50 years? Well, potentially, but he's not been offered anything as far as we know. So there's no reason for him to be lying and sending letters to the media. But Kegan Kline, he's a liar. He's a proven liar. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about Kegan Kline. All right. So I realized then all I was told by Ron Logan, there was, and after all, and secondly, Richard Allen was not a guilty man after all. This left 2 uncharged men, and now back to 3 uncharged again. Davis had alleged that Logan told him 2 other people were involved in the murders with him. Davis also accused McLeland of lying during the December press conference when he was asked about other potential suspects in the murders. At this point, we don't believe any other actors are involved. We don't have any evidence to support that, McLeland said at the time. If evidence comes out in the future to support that, we'll obviously investigate that. Davis accused McLeland of having a reckless regard for the truth, and in the letter to Fox 59 and CBS 4, Davis indicated he would like to ask McLeland if he can sleep at night. I'm not asking to be believed. I'm asking for people to ask questions, follow the evidence, and let them, poor victims, have justice. As well as a jury settle Richard Allen's jury with all the facts, not distorted by a prosecutor covering up cover-ups. This is what McLeland did, not want heard. Davis closed his letter with this message: pray for them girls and their families, free the innocent, seek the guilty, and stand for true justice for all, good and bad. Fox 59 and CBS 4 have reached out to McLeland for comment and are waiting to hear back. Oh, good luck with that. Davis' letter to CBS 4 and Fox 59 was postmarked 2 days before Allen's defense attorney, Andrew Baldwin, met with him about the alleged confession. So Andrew Baldwin met with Ricci on the 12th. So this must be dated the 10th of February. So 6 days ago. During that meeting, Baldwin said Davis provided more information about Logan's confession, which led him to file a motion demanding McLeland turn over all records related to Davis. McLeland has yet to respond to that motion. You can read Davis' full letter here. We're going to read that right now. All right. So it's 4 pages. I haven't read it all. There's some words I just can't read. But we're going to try. Is his name Ricci? Yes. That's the way way MichelleAfterDark pronounces it. MichelleAfterDark has done some work for Ricci Davis, so knows him. And he pronounces his name Ricci. Now, people say Ricky, people are saying Richie. I'm saying Ricci because that's what MichelleAfterDark uses and MichelleAfterDark knows him. So, dear Max Lewis, news reporter and publishers. This is regarding the missed interview to the Delphi murders by Ron Logan at the Indiana Correctional Facility. I am sorry, maybe, of the additional blocks, maybe, of my continued effort of being able to speak of this. It has been a rough road of fighting against suspicious behaviours of Carroll County, getting ahead, I think, reporting that something failed a polygraph. To many, that would, what's that word? Something of legitimate reasoning to disregard, and the DA accusing of dishonesty with reckless regard of something himself, and knowing something information will cause answers by the community demanded in additional to integrity within the something of bringing forward this case toward Richard Allen. I think. Can't see what I'm reading. Dear me. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Wrong screen. I do this a lot. So we'll start again. I am sorry of this additional blocks of my continued effort to being able to speak of this. It has been a rough road of fighting against suspicious behaviours of Carroll County, getting ahead, reporting that something failed the polygraph. To many, that would something of legitimate reasoning to disregard, and the DA accusing of dishonesty with reckless regard of truth himself, and knowing my information will cause answers, I think, by the community demanding, in addition to integrity within the trust of bringing forward this case toward Richard Allen. Simply. I'm going to transcribe this and then if there's any words that I can't get. Again, I haven't read this. This is my first reading of it. Although I am the furthest fan of people who commit certain types of crimes but to something, to at least maybe a sex offender, or a sex offender walk right out of prison on your watch with a promise that if you are elected into office, you would do so. So he's pertaining to Ron Logan. Agree to allow. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So, although I am the furthest fan, does that say? What does that say? I am the furthest fan of people who commit certain types of crimes, but to agree to allow a sex offender walk right out of prison on your watch with a promise that if you are elected into office, you would do so. I was told by Ron Logan in advance that Nicholas McLeland told a couple of family members of Logan and Ron Logan himself, if I am elected, I will let Ron out. I don't believe he committed that crime. McLeland was referred as a long-time family friend and will have his back. Believe Ron was not joking either. Wow. Again, look, Nick McLeland knows a lot of people in Carroll County. He's lived there all his life. He's from there. He's got a lot of extended family. He should not have been allowed to prosecute the Delphi case. He's too close to it. And I can't remember the relation between him and Becky Patty. I think it's by marriage. It's not by blood. Something like Nick McLeland's aunt was married to Becky Patty's first husband. So Libby's granddad. I think. Something like that. So it's not a close relative, but he knew the family. He should not. He's too close. And if he knew, they should have brought in a special prosecutor. That's basically what I'm saying. They brought in a special judge. It's not unusual for cases to bring in a special prosecutor. It's not unusual at all. Anyway, when the investigators was sent, I am the one heated as I done something wrong. I am the one maybe hated as I've done something wrong. Treated. All right. When the investigators were sent, I am the one treated as I'd done something wrong. I was also requested to be placed on a polygraph. It was made all about my motives, media attention. It was not about motive. I'm a man who has kids myself and felt deeply for them baby girls and families. So, look, he hates crimes against kids, as a lot of inmates do. They hate, there's some kind of honour amongst a lot of people who break the law, that they do not touch kids, and they can't abide people who do. Thank you, A to Z, for the $20. Can we talk about how beautiful his handwriting is? We could do, except I struggle to read this kind of writing. I know a lot of people love it. I can't read my own writing, so. But yeah, he's got neat handwriting. It's just hard to read. But thank you for the $20. Tell us about your dogs. All right. Tilly, Cassie, Noodle. Tilly's a Labradoodle. Cassie's a Springer Spaniel and Noodle's a Cockapoo. Tilly's nearly 9, Cassie's nearly 4, and Noodle is 2. I don't know what else you want to know, but anyway. I was asked to take the important something. I was asked to take the important something significant facts. Oh, most. I was asked to take the important most significant facts, placing into less than 2 paragraphs, be writing them on the papers seen on the news a couple of months ago. Something I asked, quote, if I've been speaking to Ron Logan for months, how can I something within sentences? How can I limit it within sentences, I think. Thank you. It's a new day. Nick's Aunt Terry is married to Brad German. Yeah, so it's his aunt married to Brad German, who is Becky Patty's first husband and Libby's bio granddad. So Derek German's dad. There you go. So I was right. And quote, I was just told to do the best I could in something I did before I something that I was told I could be charged with perjury, and asked if I wrote truthfully. It was ambiguous to ask because was the information Rogan said truthful. I did not have such answers, but I know I was. So his ask was Ron Logan truthful? Remembered, thank you. I remembered that I was told that I could be charged with perjury and asked if I wrote truthfully. It was ambiguous to ask because was the information Logan said truthful? I did not have such answers, but I know I was. So he can't say whether what Ron Logan said was truthful. He's just reporting what Ron Logan said. So he could be speaking his truth. He could be speaking absolutely what he was told. But if Ron Logan was lying, how would Ricci Davis know that? But how would Ron Logan know details about the crime scene that only the killer would know if he wasn't there? That's my issue. How come Ron Logan said to Ricci Davis in May of 2017, 3 months after the murders, that he used a box cutter to cut the girls' necks? And then at the trial in 2024, the medical examiner comes along and says he thinks the girls' necks were cut with a box cutter. So isn't it a bit strange that Ron Logan says I used a box cutter. And then the medical examiner, 7 years later, nearly 8 years later, says he believes the murder weapon was a box cutter. That's a bit strange, isn't it? All right. None would answer, just informed, just do the best I could. All I wanted was something men, maybe. I was so upset, I just offered to give me a recording. I just offered to give a recording device. I just offered to give a recording device, so wear a wire, and under full observation, they will have a recorded confession by Ron Logan. I was told, nah, Mr. Davis, it's okay. It isn't necessary, really. Can we now understand why this crime has gone unsolved? It's still unsolved because Rick Allen, in my opinion, is a patsy. This crime is unsolved. Rick Allen is not the killer. There's nothing, absolutely nothing, that fits Rick Allen with that crime. There's no piece of evidence. There's no witnesses. There's no evidence whatsoever that Rick Allen was ever at that crime scene, let alone murdered Abby and Libby. This crime is unsolved to this day. And is it any wonder? Is it any wonder? This cannot be denied by McLeland. Something as the entire setting was fully recorded by video. It is undisputed facts that he can make. Of course, he has made efforts to silence my genuine efforts. All right. Do you think Ricci Davis's life is now at peril? Because I do. I think Ricci Davis, his life is now at peril. Exactly. Unless Ricci was getting a reduced sentence for this, he has no incentive to write it all out and help with the investigation. Exactly. There's nothing in it for him. It's not like investigators have said, tell me all you know and we can knock some years off his 50-year sentence. So some people think his life is apparently, it really is. It gets worse. While Richard Allen was about to go on trial, once again, I attempted to notify the three who were involved once more. There were facts and evidence to lead than to something he would not speak to me, to silence, to one something at related to Logan. Silence it related to Logan. Not one letter, not two, not three, but 7 letters before he convicted an innocent man. At first believed Richard Allen possibly had his hand in it. However, the same evidence that I previously reported. He something since oh yeah since it related to Logan. Not one letter, not two, not three, but 7 letters before he convicted an innocent man. I at first believe Richard Allen possibly had his hand in it. However, the same evidence that I previously reported, he taken the same before the jury, making the case against another man with a straight face. I realised then all I was told by Ron Logan was none, maybe. After all, was true, after all. And secondly, Richard Allen was not a guilty man after all. This left 2 uncharged men, and now back to these uncharged again. Back to 3 uncharged again. McLeland knew this, as family communicated that the letters were passed to McLeland. Wow. After Richard Allen's convictions, McLeland got on TV live recounting his many parts on his back. Oh, TV live. His many parts. Oh, many pats on his back. Receiving. TV live receiving his many pats on his back, and told the families of the girls and community. He has not been aware of any other suspects, as that was the first question by the media. I am not asking to be believed. I'm asking for people to ask questions, follow the evidence, and let them, poor victims, have justice, as well as a jury settle Richard Allen's jury with all the facts, not distorted by a DA covering up cover-ups. This is wild. This is freaking wild. This is what McLeland did not want heard. It's wild. My only question is, McLeland, can you sleep at night? But can you really, though? P.S. Pray for them girls and families. Free the innocent. Seek the guilty. And stand for true justice for all, good and bad. Ricci Davis. Wow. That's insane. Let's read it again. I think the more I read it, the easier it'll become to read. Yeah, seek the truth. And that's the same question of Carter. He's a funny man, isn't he, Doug Carter? He's a funny little man. I used to give him the benefit of the doubt. I used to think, oh, well, maybe he's just a bit peculiar. Maybe he's nervous being in front of the camera and that makes him appear odd. But no, he's just an odd little man. Simple as that. With probably many secrets. All right, let's read this again. This is regarding the missed interview to the Delphi murders by Ron Logan at Indiana Correctional Facility. So regarding the missed interview, because Ricci agreed to be interviewed by Fox 59, but the jail wouldn't let it, or the prison wouldn't let it, because of safety concerns, which is nonsense, absolute nonsense. They could have done it over, I don't know what they use, FaceTime. They could have done it virtually. There's no security concerns, nothing. Not for the interviewer, not for Ricci, not for the prison. It is simply bonkers. They're so crooked, yeah? Oh dear, tornado alarm going off in South Georgia. In South Georgia, be careful. Look after yourself. Yeah, Zoom, FaceTime, whatever it is they use. Look, Kegan Kline is there from prison being interviewed by the murder shits, by the media. Kegan Kline can do it. I think that Ricci Davis can as well. All right. I am sorry of the additional blocks of my continued effort of being able to speak of this. It has been a rough road of fighting against suspicious behaviours of Carroll County, getting ahead, reporting that I simply failed a polygraph. To many, that would something of legitimate reasoning to disregard, and the DA accusing of dishonesty with reckless regard of health himself, and knowing my information will cause answers by the community demanded in addition to integrity within the trust of bringing forward this case towards Richard Allen. Sound. Oh, that would sound truth. Regard of truth. I said truth before. I don't know why I said health. It looks like health. That looks like an age. Anyway, truth himself, and knowing my information will cause answers by the community demanded in addition to integrity within the trust of bringing forward this case towards Richard Allen. Although I am the furthest fan of people who commit certain types of crime, but to agree to allow a sex offender walk right out of prison on your watch, and with a promise that if you are elected into office, you would do so. I was told by Ron Logan in advance that Nicholas McLeland told a couple of family members of Logan and Ron Logan himself, if I am elected, I will let Ron out. I don't believe he committed that crime. McLeland was referred as a long-time family friend and will have his back. Believe Ron was not joking either. And I don't think he was joking either. And who else would Nick McLeland say that to? Would he say that to his brother, Brad Holder? Would he? Don't worry about it. I've got your back. Would he say that to his brother? Kathy Shank had Ron Logan's back too. Allegedly so. Yeah. Allegedly so. They all know each other. And Rick Allen, even though he lived in the community, he wasn't in with the in crowd, was he? He's an easy man to pin it all on. When the investigators was sent, I am the one treated as I done something wrong. I was also requested to be placed on a polygraph. It was made all about my motives, i.e. media attention. It was not about motive. I am a man who has kids myself and felt deeply for them baby girls and families. I was asked to take the important, more significant facts, placing into less than 2 paragraphs, be writing them on the paper, seen one on the news a couple of months ago. So I asked, quote, if I've been speaking to Ron Logan for months, but I can limit at within sentences. Limit it within sentences. And quote, I was just told to do the best I could in something I did. I remembered that I was told I could be charged with perjury and asked if I wrote truthfully. It was ambiguous to ask because was the information Logan said truthful. I did not have such answers, but I know I was. None would answer, just informed, just do the best I could. All I wanted was talk something. All I wanted was tell the truth. Tell them. I don't know that. No, talk like men. All I wanted was talk like men. Okay, that makes sense. So I was asked to take the important, more significant facts, placing into less than 2 paragraphs, be writing them on the papers, seeing one on the news a couple of months ago, but I asked, quote, if I've been speaking to Ron Logan for months, how can I limit it within sentences? And quote, I was just told to do the best I could in something I did. Before I remembered that I was told I could be charged with perjury and asked if I wrote truthfully. It was ambiguous to ask because the information Logan said truthful. I did not have such answers, but I know I was. No one would answer, just informed, just do the best I could. All I wanted was talk like men. I was so upset, I just offered to give me a recording device, and under full observation, they will have a recorded confession by Ron Logan. I was told, nah, Mr. Davis, it's okay. It isn't necessary, really. This cannot be denied by McLeland, DA, as the entire setting was fully recorded by video. It is undisputed facts that he can make. Of course, he has made effort to silence my genuine efforts. It gets worse. While Richard Allen was about to go on trial, once again, I attempted to notify the 3 who were involved once more. There were facts and evidence to lead than to something. He would not speak to me to one since it related to Logan. Not 1 letter, not 2 or 3, but 7 letters before he convicted an innocent man. I at first believed Richard Allen possibly had his hand in it. However, the same evidence that I previously reported, he taken the same before the jury. He'd taken the same before the jury, making the case against another man with a straight face. I realised then all I was told by Ron Logan was true after all. And secondly, Richard Allen was not a guilty man after all. This left 2 uncharged men, and now back to 3 uncharged again. McLeland knew this as family communicated that the letters were passed on to McLeland. After Richard Allen's convictions, McLeland got on TV live, receiving his many pats on his back, and told the families of the girls and community he has not been aware of any other suspects, as that was the first question by the media. I am not asking to be believed. I am asking for people to ask questions, follow the evidence, and let them poor victims have justice, as well as a jury settle Richard Allen's jury with all facts, not distorted by a DA covering up cover-ups. This is what McLeland did not want heard. My only question is, McLeland, can you sleep at night? But can you really, though? P.S. Pray for them girls and families, free the innocent, seek the guilty, and stand for true justice for all, good and bad. Ricci Davis. Got most of that. There's a few words I'm still not clear on, but it's getting easier. If I read it like a million more times, then I'll be able to, I think, transcribe it. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? So where are we at with this now? So Judge Gull needs to respond. She has not yet done anything in relation to the motion to correct errors. She doesn't have to do anything. If she doesn't do anything, what it basically means is her doing nothing counts as a denial. So here are her choices. She can either vacate Rick Allen's conviction as being unsound. She has the power to do that. Doesn't mean he's a free man. It just means the conviction that was had from the trial is unsound. So basically start again. Or she can set it for a hearing so that both sides can lay out their evidence and hash it out in open court. Or she can deny it without hearing. If she denies it without hearing, then that's when the appeals process kicks in proper. It goes above her head to the appeals court. So his lawyers for the appeal are now kind of set. He's got a couple of really good lawyers for the appeal for the next step, because it's highly anticipated that Judge Gull will deny this without a hearing. Can you disbar a judge? Yes. If she does nothing, if she just ignores it, if she doesn't respond, it counts as a denial. She'll do the hearing to buy time. Interesting. 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 I think she'll wait. And either she'll just write like a normal, like one sentence, denied without hearing, with no explanation whatsoever, or she'll just say nothing, and then that will count as a denial. But whichever way it runs, I do think Rick Allen has a very good chance of getting an appeal. Like, once the appeals court see this, I think by anybody's standards, surely the conviction of Rick Allen is not sound. It's not safe. Given all of the other evidence that the jury were not allowed to see, and the sheer lack of evidence against Rick Allen, surely that, you know, that rings alarm bells and like loads of red flags for the appeals court to dig themselves into, like the rabbit holes that that we've gone down. You know, you think, well, the appeals system, it's kind of like the formalized rabbit hole collection, isn't it? You know, it's, you know, they have to consider everything. Hasn't she been promoted? Yeah, she was a while ago. Like, she's like the chief judge now. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Nothing bad will happen to Judge Gull. Nothing bad will happen at all. Stupid is that stupid does, yeah. Yeah, so those just coming in, rewind, because I'm not going to read the letter again. But Ricci Davis, this is Ricci. This is Ricci. He's the one that claims Ron Logan confessed to him in 2017, May 2017. He also claims that Kegan Kline spoke to him, like, they've all been in the same prison. He was with Ron Logan in the same pod in 2017, and then he spent time with Kegan Kline. So he's in a unique position that he's spoken to both Ron Logan and Kegan Kline. And he believes that it's Ron Logan, Kegan Kline has got involvement, not necessarily actually did anything, but was involved, and the third person. That's what he thinks. Or has been told. That's what he's been told. But it's all just starting to unravel now, as the defence for Rick Allen are digging into it. Like, Andy Baldwin has gone to meet with Ricci just 4 days ago. So we'll see what comes of it. But one thing is clear. This is leading once again away from Rick Allen and towards other people. Kline had communication with the girls, did Allen? No, there's no evidence whatsoever that Rick Allen ever communicated with Abby or Libby. No evidence whatsoever. No evidence that Rick Allen knew Ron Logan or the Klines or anybody else that has been deemed a person of interest in this case. Rick Allen and Cassie just kept themselves to themselves. You know, they used to go out to the pubs and, you know, have a drink. Rick would play pool. He just went to his job at CVS, did his job, came home, did things around his house. They just led a quiet, very normal life. There was nothing whatsoever that raised any red flags about Rick Allen being involved in child exploitation or child porn. There's nothing whatsoever against Rick Allen that would suggest that he'd do a crime like this. There's no evidence that he was there at the time the girls were murdered. There's no evidence that anybody saw him. The witnesses, the girls who saw a man described someone other than Rick Allen, said he was a tall guy. Rick Allen's 5'4". The first thing you'd notice about Rick Allen is how small he is for a man. Betsy Blair, who saw the man on the bridge around 2-ish, describes somebody completely different than Rick Allen. He went for a walk, but there's no evidence that he was there at the time the girls were. He claims to have left around 1:30. That's before the girls even set off to go to the bridge. He was still at Libby's house at 1:30. I think they left about that time. There's nothing. There's nothing. No DNA, no fingerprints, nothing. And the unspent round that they used to say, oh, he was at the crime scene because this unspent round came from his weapon. Well, no, because Melissa Oberg, the state's own witness, could not exclude other 40 caliber weapons. Could not exclude them. And she couldn't even pin it on Rick's gun until she actually fired the round. So she then compares apples with oranges. She's comparing a spent round with an unspent round. How scientific is that? Answer, not at all. You're comparing apples with oranges. So there's no evidence yet. There is more evidence against other people, whether it's Ron Logan, whether it's the Odinists who ever may have been there. What I need to understand is, are there actually links between Ron Logan, the Kleins, or at least Kegan, and who's the third person? And I'm not going to let Elvis Fields go because Elvis Fields confessed. I'm not going to let him go. So is there a link between Ron Logan, Elvis Fields, and Kegan Kline? Were they all communicating because they're all into child porn? That's one possible link. Why did Elvis Fields confess and why did he lie about his alibi? There's something very funny about Elvis Fields. I'm not going to let him go. Ron is friends with Tony Kline. Look, Ron Logan knew a lot of people. Ron Logan was, he'd lived a long time. Knew that, he lived in the area for many years. So he knew a lot of people. Anyhow, I'm going to keep this brief so that people can watch it on the replay. I'm going to go and read this a million more times. And I think I've got most of it now. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. This was only short, but hello to all the replay viewers. Those just waking up can watch this. Can fast forward all the chatting. Just concentrate on the content here. The blood on Elvis Fields' jacket implies there was truth to his confession. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you for joining me. Thanks as always to the mods. Do a sterling job. Thank you to those that donated earlier on in the live stream. Don't think I had any new members. No new members. Okay. So enjoy the rest of your day and I'll speak to you soon. Bye, folks.